Hey guys, Miss B. Hanley here again, and today we're talking about plot and plot structure.
In any book, movie, TV show, or video game, there lies a story. Usually, this story is represented by a certain structure, and this structure is called the plot structure. Usually, a plot should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. To be more specific, it should have an exposition, a climax, and a resolution. There are these different parts of plot and can be represented in different ways, but let's go over the basic plot structure. The beginning of plot is usually known as the exposition. The exposition usually holds information about the setting, the characters, and the world that the viewer or reader needs to know about. The exposition gives valuable information to the audience that allows them to understand what the conflict is, who the protagonist and antagonist are, and what the overall story is going to be about. The exposition also holds very important information known as the status quo. The status quo is defined as the existing state of affairs, especially regarding social or political issues. In a story, the status quo is the current state of affairs for the characters in their world. If the story is representative of our real world, it will often match the status quo of what is happening currently in our real world. In either case, the status quo is the stage that's set for the characters to begin telling the audience the story. At some point in the plot, there comes a turning point. This turning point is known as the inciting incident. The inciting incident is basically a moment in the story where the main character experiences some big change in their life. Once the inciting incident occurs, the conflict and the rising action begin. In the rising actions, you see different battles play out, or tensions build, or information gathered to lead to the climax of the story. The climax of the story is the high point of the story. This is usually where the protagonist and the antagonist come together for their big conflict or battle. Once this conflict is resolved between the protagonist and the antagonist, what comes next is usually known as the falling action. Oftentimes, this can be described as the denouement, which literally translates to the untying of the knot. In the denouement, minor characters might resolve minor conflicts, or other incidents might occur in order to progress the story to its natural end. The falling action is meant to bring the story back to another, different status quo. The last part of the story is known as the resolution. The resolution is where the characters begin to wrap up or say goodbye. There are variations on the basic plot structure. Certain plot structures might have things called minor climaxes, which lead to the overall larger climax to the story. You might also have a story that has multiple high points to it, leading to the overall resolution of the conflict between the two characters. There's also plot lines that include multiple story threads that lead to the same overarching climax. You may also have a plot structure that includes a rise and fall of one character only to lead to another rise and fall of a different character. There are also plots that put the end as the beginning of the story, and each action that happens after that is moving backward in time to the catalyst for the entire plot itself. There are also plots that are more episodic, that have individual rising action, climaxes, and falling actions, but overarch over a longer period of time, like a TV series. Then there are certain stories that include a spiral plot that might be the same characters experiencing the same thing over and over again, only to lead to different consequences. The truth is that plot can be interpreted in many different ways, and there are many different ways to tell a story to engage an audience or a reader. When looking at the plot of a story that you're reading, watching, or listening to, you want to understand the structure of the plot is what anchors us into the story itself. So when a reader or an audience is experiencing or being told a story, they're able to follow the story in a way that's logical, or sometimes not logical, depending on how that story wants to be told. And that's about it for plot and plot devices. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when a new video is coming out. I hope to see you in class. Have a great day. Bye.